1 year since historic flooding devastated San Diego.
One minute everything was calm, and then the next it was just chaos.
1 year since residents lost their valuables, their homes, their livelihoods.
I lost everything, you know, like my kid lost everything.
ABC 10 News has been there every step of the way, following through on the recovery.
What happened to us and what happened to all our neighborhoods, it's not, it's not a joke. This is a nightmare.
1 year later, there's still a long road ahead. We appreciate you being with us on this Wednesday evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I am Wale Ali, live in Mountain View. This is one of the areas hit the hardest by the floods. The water came from the creek right in the backyard of some of these houses behind me. It was full of trash, debris, overgrown vegetation, including trees. I even remember seeing furniture in there. I want to show you the difference, though. On the left of your screen, you can see what the creek looked like last January after the flood. Even cars ended up there. A completely different view than what the creek looks like today. You see that on the right of your screen. There are patches of wet soil, but the ground has been mostly flattened. Neighborhoods are looking closer to normal, though some are still trying to repair their homes. Even now, yes, 365 days later. And we have continued to return to the impacted areas over the past year to check in with the unforgettable people who have led us into their homes when they were most vulnerable and have trusted us to share their stories.
This was so scary. I watched the water come up.
But as you see, everything gone. I lost all my mom's picture. This is the only thing I have left to memorize my mom.
And then I come in, the water is here, and I come into my house. And when I see my mother-in-law on the sofa, everybody crying because she's died. I told to the God, give me the more strong. I need to start strong for my family.
I took up all my savings account, use it, and then and I'm still waiting for FEMA's money.
Sitting on that water for 5.5 hours, seeing what was the current, what it was taking, cars, debris, and everything. I was just praying to the Lord, just keep us here. So yes, I'm thankful that He kept us here. I'm thankful that I am. All for everybody that's alive that went through this, from everywhere, from our council, for every place where it hit. I'm thankful for everybody's made it through. That I am. That I still got a heart.
One of the victims you just saw in that piece, Perla Gomez, who lost her mother-in-law, Maria Gomez Mendoza. Here they are a year later, remembering her with a prayer and some candles and honoring her. She had just lost her mother-in-law just before the floods came, and they were trying to get her body out and try to carry on her mattress, and they were dealing with two tragedies at the same time. One of the many devastating stories that we've covered over the last year. And I gotta tell you, as I covered these historic floods over the last 365 days, it was not lost on me the impact race had on both the prevention and the response of the flood. I took all the questions from residents that I've been speaking to over the last year regarding those disparities, took them directly to the mayor in part 2 of our interview. Is it a coincidence that the portion of our city that had poor infrastructure just happens to be a Black and brown community?
There's no question there's been disparity in infrastructure, but some of that disparity isn't just about who lives in those communities, but it's also the age of the infrastructure. And probably the best example I can give you for how that plays out is streetlights. You notice in the communities we're talking about right now, those neighborhoods are very dark. We need more San Diegans calling on elected officials to fund infrastructure in order to address not just the need, but also the historic inequities.
So what I hear you say, it's complicated, but I also hear you say it's not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence when you consider the age of these communities. I think particularly for the neighborhoods in the Choice Peak watershed, I mean, the fact of the matter is that, you know, when many of those neighborhoods were settled a very, very long time ago, those are the only communities where people like you and I were allowed to live. And not surprisingly, it's in a watershed, it's in a creek bed. That stain on our city's history is still there, and we still grapple with it.
There seems to be a tale of two cities. Had this storm happened in La Jolla, would the response have been the same?
With me as mayor, I'd like to think so. But I can say we have had some recent disasters that have played out differently. So in 2003 and 2007, we had enormous wildfires in the northeastern corner of our city. Communities like Rancho Bernardo and Scripps Ranch were devastated. Homes lost, lives upended very similarly. In those instances, the response was a little bit different. There are disparities that happen. In this particular case, I think everyone involved, including the federal government, when I explained to them, these are some of the most low-income communities in our entire city. Their recovery needs federal investment if they're ever going to have any hope of recovering. And much to their credit, the Biden-Harris administration said, we get it. We consider equity when making disaster declarations, and we hear what you're saying. And eventually they did grant that declaration, which put money back into the pockets of the people impacted.
Give me one thing the city would have done differently to prevent this flood from happening, and one thing the city would have done differently in the response.
Every time we have notice of a rain event happening, our city goes on something that's called Storm Patrol, where we literally deploy hundreds of city employees all over the city to known locations of potential flooding and have them prepared. All of that was done in advance of January 22nd, but obviously it was inadequate to the size of that atmospheric river that dropped that much water on that concentrated area. We are looking at whether or not our historic Storm Patrol is matched to what we're now experiencing. That has been our typical posture, but maybe we need to do something different. But to suggest the city was unaware of the rain event or that we weren't prepared for it, that isn't the case. We did both of those things. What no one told us was that the 4 inches of rain that was predicted that particular weekend would come down in about 2 or 3 hours' time. With regard to the recovery, one of the things I wish that we could have gotten sooner, and you all did some coverage on this, was that the original local assistance center, where we put all the relevant agencies and governments and others all in one place to help storm victims, was placed out in Spring Valley. But we know ground zero of this flood was in South Crest, Mountain View, and Encanto.
If the same rain event was to happen again, is the city ready to go? You're going to hear that answer coming up in part 3 of our interview at 11 o'clock. But I want to just show you something real quick. You heard the mayor talking about some of these underserved communities, and you used the example of streetlights. We can definitely attest to that here on this street, South 42nd, just how dark it is. There are just a few streetlights on this street. One of the many issues that they face when it talked about being underserved. Coming up at 11, you're going to hear why the mayor says San Diego is just as vulnerable now to the historic floods as we were 1 year ago, and what lessons we've learned here in San Diego that the victims of the LA wildfires can take with them. That's at 11. Kimberly, back to you in the studio.
So much hurt and loss. And as you say, so many answers needed for the future. Thank you, Wale Aliyu, for all of your coverage throughout this year.